While we tend to think about grief associated only with death, in fact, grief is really associated with multiple versions of loss. And in the cancer population, there's a tremendous amount of loss when you're diagnosed as a young person. So if you think about things like the loss of fertility as you go into cancer treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, you can think about the loss of organs, such as the breast or the testicle or areas of the face or swallowing capacity. You can think about loss of physical mobility if you're amputating limbs. There's a profound amount of loss for which we can still experience grief. And that can include everything from being disconnected from one's social life and community, not being able to work anymore and losing financial independence, having to move back in with family members, so losing one's home. There can be loss of physical capacity, so that can be strength, it can be range of motion, it can be mobility, it can be the ability to tend to daily tasks of life, the activities of daily living as we call it. So if you're unable to shower by yourself, if you're unable to feed yourself, if you're unable to go grocery shopping, these are losses that are quite profound and impact one's independence and sense of self, and also one's identity and self-concept. So it becomes really important for us to talk about grief because clients are coping with these losses of their tissue, of their organs, of their abilities, and grief has a huge impact on a person's emotional well-being and their coping. And one of the things I like to remind people is that grief isn't only about death. So you don't have to talk about death to talk about grief. And there are two very important types of grief that we talk about with this population that many people don't know about. One is called anticipatory grief, and one is called disenfranchised grief.